Here are some of the best collaborations rappers have done with brands. Number 10. Ciroc and Diddy. With a personal net worth somewhere over $850 million, Diddy is easily one of the richest rappers around, and it goes without saying that most of his earnings come from calculated business moves and not from rapping. But we can't forget that Diddy did have one of the best-selling rap albums of all time with his album No Way Out. One of Diddy's best business deals was getting into the liquor business with Diageo. They decided to pull up Ciroc Vodka. Before Diddy got involved, Ciroc was just a random vodka brand that hit the market in 2003 and promoted by former NFL player Earl Little. Because of Diddy's involvement, Ciroc basically popped up everywhere, seemingly overnight. Instead of getting paid up front in cash over several years, Diddy decided to put a big bet on his promotional skills and went for ownership. It's a risky proposition considering all the alcohol collaborations other rappers have done and how almost all of them have gone nowhere. Before Diddy signed on, Ciroc was doing around 40,000 cases a year. Diddy negotiated a 50-50 split of the profits from Ciroc's sales, and that might have inspired him to give the deal his full energy. Diddy revealed that his main simple focus was attracting the big money guys, something that he obviously has a way of doing. He took over Ciroc's marketing and was responsible for picking the new spots to promote and distribute Ciroc. With Diddy's help, Ciroc became a profitable venture in just a few short years. Today, Ciroc has annual sales anywhere between 1.4 to 2 million cases a year. A huge jump from the 40,000 cases back in 2007. Number 9. McDonald's and Travis Scott. Travis Scott isn't a stranger to collaborations. He's had collabs with Nike with his Cactus Jack design for Jordans. He's collaborated with his hometown team, Houston Rockets, to do a remix of their logo with the Cactus Jack theme. Then, there are the Fortnite and Reese's Puffs collabs. And of course, there's the collab with McDonald's. In this month-long endorsement deal, McDonald's fans could grab the Travis Scott meal for $6 and select Mickey D's across the US. But what exactly were diners getting for $6? Well, Travis Scott's favorite McDonald's meal, of course. This partnership was the first time since 1992 that a celebrity's name is actually featured on the McDonald's menu. The last person? Michael Jordan. Yeah. We can safely say Travis Scott is kind of a big deal now. The Travis Scott meal included the Quarter Pounder with cheese, bacon, and lettuce, fries with barbecue sauce, and a Sprite. The collaboration wasn't limited to the meal, though. Travis also designed clothes for the campaign, such as t-shirts, pants, and socks. Then there's the Travis Scott action figure McDonald's came out with. It was limited to just 5 models and given away on Twitter. This handcrafted figure was first listed for a whopping $55,000 by one of the lucky winners on StockX. Who knows what it'll actually sell for, but as of right now, someone's willing to pay at least $3,500 for it. But come on, who can forget the chicken nugget body pillow they came out with? Number 8. Vitamin Water and 50 Cent. 50 Cent is known to be a pretty smart guy with all the ventures he's been a part of. His most memorable deal has to be with Vitamin Water. This is most likely his biggest single deal ever. This deal was done back in 2004 when he partnered up to promote Vitamin Water, which was owned by Glacial back at that time. But how did that deal come about? 50 wanted to get into the beverage business. He was working with the late great record executive Chris Lighty at the time. So Lighty did some light research and learned about Vitamin Water, and he set up a meeting for 50. Basically, 50 noticed that Vitamin Water didn't have a great flavor, and that's how they came up with and developed the new flavor, Formula 50. Instead of taking cash for promoting the new flavor, 50 opted to get a percentage of the company. He even threw in some of his own money to help with developing the flavor. He negotiated a minority stake, which made him one of the wealthiest rappers once the brand took off. Coca-Cola took notice of Vitamin Water's growing popularity, so in 2007, they offered slightly over $4 billion to have the brand under their ownership. When that deal went through, 50 instantly made $100 million, according to Forbes. However, 50 himself has actually never disclosed the full figure. In 2015, during his messy bankruptcy proceeding, he still didn't disclose how much he really made. That's because Formula 50 is still on the market today, and the money is still rolling in from the deal he signed. Number 7. Reebok and Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't get to $1 billion net worth by just selling music and touring. His deal with Reebok back in 2003 was arguably one of the most important highlights in his business life. It paved the way for his later endorsements, and it gave major shoe brands big reasons to consider rappers in general for endorsements. Endorsements back then in the shoe industry were reserved only for elite athletes. At that time, Jay was red hot heading into 2003. He had just released his 8th platinum album, The Blueprint 2, and it debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. So in April of 2003, Jay and Reebok came out with the S. Carter, a shoe named after Jay-Z's real name. Each pair was packaged along with a CD sampler featuring unreleased Jay-Z tracks. Within a week of its release, Reebok had sold more than 10,000 pairs. That made the S. Carter the fastest-selling shoe in company history at that point. However, Reebok isn't Nike. They didn't know how to exactly keep up the momentum by properly making the shoe seem like a premium shoe. Instead, they flooded the market with S. Carters and completely flooded the market. The allure of the shoe was quickly over. A year later, Reebok introduced the S. Carter 2, which was a similar tennis-inspired low-top shoe, but they couldn't replicate the initial success of the partnership. Jay and Reebok ended their partnership after 4 years. However, even though Jay couldn't keep up the initial success, Jay paved the way for other rappers on other brands, and that leads us to number 6, Reebok and 50 Cent. We're back talking about 50 again because he made another great deal. 50 exploded onto the music scene in the early 2000s with his massively successful debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying. After the success they had with Jay-Z, Reebok decided to sign 50 and they came out with the G-Unit sneaker. The G-Unit sneaker line was a big hit. According to 50, G-Unit sneakers outsold S. Carter sneakers by 6-1. 50 also claimed to make around $80 million from the deal with Reebok. The numbers aren't exactly verified, but yeah. Back in the mid to late 2000s, there were plenty of people walking around with G-Unit shoes. But the most interesting fact has to be this one. Supposedly, another reason that Reebok had decided to sign Jay and then 50 at that time was because they had lost out on signing LeBron to Nike. LeBron's deal with Nike at that time was $90 million for 7 years. Reebok had offered $115 million to LeBron at that time. Even though Reebok offered $25 million more, LeBron chose Nike because they were positioned better for market longevity. One thing that's for sure, LeBron and 50 both won in the deals they signed. Number 5, Balenciaga and Cardi B. In just a few years, Cardi B went from a minor Instagram and Vine celebrity to a legitimate hip-hop superstar. And while there's still a hot debate about whether she can stack up against Nicki Minaj, there's no denying that she's made a huge name for herself. And that's the exact reason why a big luxury brand such as Balenciaga wouldn't mind cutting her a check to tap into some of that influence. In September of 2020, Balenciaga shared the promo images of their new campaign featuring Cardi on Twitter. She later acknowledged it and retweeted it with the caption, "New face of Balenciaga." Around the same time, images of Cardi popped up all over the world in Balenciaga's Fall 2020 campaign. For example, the poster was displayed prominently on a billboard in Paris near the famous Louvre Museum. But that was just the start. From the side of the Louvre, the campaign was throughout Paris and across Asia in places such as South Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore. But the most interesting fact is that Cardi actually took the photo of her in a Balenciaga black dress herself while she was in lockdown mode. All Balenciaga had to do was slap the brand name on the pic. Would this get more people who are into hip-hop music to wear more Balenciaga? We're willing to bet that this collab will work out, but only time will tell. Number 4, Mountain Dew and Lil Wayne. Back in March 2012, Mountain Dew collaborated with Lil Wayne. The campaign was called Dweezy, and it was Lil Wayne's first major endorsement deal. The Dweezy campaign officially kicked off with a Lil Wayne performance at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. The deal was the biggest collaboration with a celeb in Mountain Dew history, and Mountain Dew executives showed up to watch Wayne perform. However, this is an example of how quickly a big partnership can go wrong. It also illustrates why for artists who want full creative control, a major corporate collaboration may not be possible. That's because in just a little over a year, Lil Wayne's deal with Mountain Dew was over. In April of 2013, Mountain Dew had to terminate the contract after the lyrics he used when he was featured on Future's Karate Chop remix. Lil Wayne put in an Emmett Till reference that caused a big backlash. We won't repeat the lyrics here, but a quick Google search will bring this up. Mountain decided to sever the ties with Lil Wayne because of pressure brought on by the family of Emmett Till. Number 3. Adidas and Kanye West. What hasn't Kanye done? Kanye is well known for his involvement in the fashion world, specifically for collaborating with Adidas. It's arguably one of the most lucrative ventures for him, bringing in 9-figure earnings for Kanye. It also made him one of the richest rappers with a net worth of slightly over $1 billion, according to Forbes estimates. Kanye signed the deal with Adidas back in 2013 after terminating an earlier 5-year partnership with Nike. The first Yeezys hit the market back in 2015, along with the release of the Yeezy Season 1 collection. It featured different apparel pieces such as t-shirts, coats, sweatpants, and of course sneakers, among other items. The Yeezys were a huge hit. They sold out right after release, and resale on eBay for Yeezys commanded up to close to $2,000 a pair for certain colorways. Kanye boosted the Adidas brand significantly, making it the most liked brand on Instagram in 2015, according to Business Insider. Clearly, Adidas' decision to collab with Kanye worked out, but are these the best shoes Kanye ever designed? Remember the Louis Vuitton collab Kanye did back in the day? Number 2. Ralph Lauren and Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper is one of the few clean-cut rappers without tattoos. Well, technically he has one, but he says he regrets getting it. With his wholesome image, he still is successful. He's been a big fan of Ralph Lauren, and they took notice of him wearing their brand since he fits their brand image. Ralph Lauren and Chance collaborated in September of 2020 with a pre-recorded performance at Ralph Lauren's Chicago store. The show was aired on both Chance's and Ralph Lauren's social media channels. According to Chance, music and fashion have always been interlinked. Ralph Lauren had always been one of his favorite designers, and it's what he's worn for his favorite moments in his career and his personal life. The intimate virtual concert tied together the greatest events of Chance's life. The virtual concert was a win-win for both of them. The concert introduced Chance to a wider audience, and it helped out Ralph Lauren with their brand perception in the hip-hop community. That's because it seems like Ralph Lauren has lost a step the past few years because of the surge of certain luxury brands in hip-hop. Number 1. Bud Light and Post Malone. In October 2019, Budweiser released a limited edition of Bud Light cans that was in collaboration with Post Malone. The cans were designed with various details referencing his personal life and style. One of them was a mugshot of Post Malone. Other notable cans had swords, barbed wire, and dragons, with all of them references to some of Post Malone's, interesting tattoos. Post Malone confesses that he loved the collaboration. Obviously, he got a big check from it, but that wasn't the big deal for him. Apparently, he was just super happy that he had his face on a beer can. Honestly, if there was a beer brand that fit perfectly with Post Malone's persona, it'd be Bud Light, or maybe it's PBR. Here's what's next.